What's up everybody, my name's Scott, and in this video I'm going to be restoring this Japanese made konro grill. So this grill is a little different than a traditional konro. It's not made of clay, but it's fully cast iron with a wooden base plate. So this is a Japanese style portable cooking grill. Overall the grill is in really good shape. All the pieces are here. It's just gotten a little rusty and neglected. There's one part for this sliding mechanism. The retainer for it is got a crack in it, and then the wooden base plate has gotten a little warped, probably from water damage over the years. So I think I'm going to replace that while I'm working on it. Other than that, it just needs cleaned up. So here's that cracked piece that I'm going to do a repair on. You can see it right here. And then, of course, this wooden base plate. You can see how it's got kind of a bow in it, and it doesn't really sit level even with just the 3 feet. So if this is something you're interested in seeing, stick around, because afterwards we're going to cook a little on this grill. And this is the primary tool I'm using for this. It's a 40-pound blast cabinet, and it's going to be used to take all the rust off this cast iron. Overall, this cast iron's in really good shape. There's a little bit of surface rust, but not much pitting. So I'm really hopeful that just with a light sandblasting, I'll be able to restore this grill to almost new condition. There is some black paint or something on the cooking pot. So that's going to be a little bit challenging to remove. But overall, it should be a quick sandblast job. Sandblasting is a very effective method of removing paint and rust from steel parts. It uses high pressure air and a media blasted on the surface. Overall, it can be very fast at removing rust. In my case, a 40-pound cabinet with the size air compressor I have is kind of slow. So here are just the highlights of blasting these parts. Once the parts are cleaned up, I move on to weld repair. I'm using the TIG welding process with a low carbon rod. This filler material is great for welding on cast iron because it helps prevent cracking. Next, I'll just knock down the welds with a grinding wheel, and then I'll move to final buffing to give me the contour that I want of the part. Next, I needed to move on to replacing this wooden base plate. As you can see, somebody overheated it and actually charcoaled it. I took a piece of the 1.25-inch oak planks that I cut out with my sawmill slab, and I chucked it up in my lathe, and I just circled out a disc similar to size of what was there. And then I gave it kind of a traditional finish with just the boiled linseed oil, which should harden up over time. I'm reattaching this with the hardware that was originally on it. Now I'm just going to reassemble the damper with the hardware that was originally on it. It's in good condition and there's no reason to replace it. So this was a fun little restoration for me. Anybody could do this type of restoration even without a sandblaster. You could certainly wire wheel all these parts. And the weld repair that I did wasn't necessary. The damper still functioned even with the cracked part. So now we're going to move on to cooking with the grill. I have some lump charcoal that I bought and some lighter fluid. And before I start, I'm going to wipe the grill down with a little bit of oil, and this is just straight vegetable oil, and I'm going to use this to season the cast iron as I'm cooking in it. So I wanted to do this because it's more of a traditional finish for cast iron. I could have gotten high temperature paint and painted it, but I don't really like to do that. I like to keep things kind of traditional. The best thing to use in these grills is lump charcoal. You want to avoid using charcoal briquettes if you can. They typically will get a lot harder than lump charcoal, and they can overheat the grill, and they usually burn your food. I haven't ever cooked in one of these that is this size, so it's taking a little bit of trial and error to get the charcoal going and to make sure I have the right amount. It'll take about 15 minutes for the charcoal to burn down before you can start grilling. I really wanted a piece of traditional Japanese beef such as Wagyu or Kobe beef to grill on this, but I couldn't find any at my local butcher shop, so I had to settle for what was available. I ended up just cutting the beef into thin 3/8 inch thick strips. In addition to the beef, I just have some fresh red peppers that I'm going to cook. They are very sweet and should complement the beef well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Cheap cast iron cookware like this can be had for very little money, and once you restore it, it basically functions as it's brand new.